right, I'd like to call the Monday, October 9th, 2017 Zoning Board of Appeals regular meeting to order. If we could all stand and pay our respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And next is noting of the roll.
It appears everybody's here. You want to go through one by one?
I believe we are all present.
We are all present.
And we need a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
That was moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The minutes of September 11th.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Monday, September 11th, 2017, as noted, as presented.
Second that.
Oh, that was moved and seconded. Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those will be approved. At this point, I'd like to open the floor to any members of the public who would like to speak on any items that are not on tonight's agenda. Anything? You can talk about anything you'd like. Okay, having no one coming forward, we will close item number 6 and move on to item number 7, regular business. This is ZBA 007.17. This is regarding signage at 925 North Lapeer Road, also known as the Legacy Center. This was continued from our previous meeting of September 11th, and at that point, we gave the applicant direction to take the comments and come back with something. And at this point, if you want to come, state whatever it is you need to state, maybe wrap up kind of how you changed it from last time and whatever else you want to add.
Hi, good evening. Christian Mills, Legacy Center, 925 North Lapeer Road. So we kind of went back, and I believe the way we left this was the idea that we were going to look at a total square footage that we wanted to stay within, so we can have one approval for signage and murals, that, you know, we had some freedom to, you know, put murals and signage on the building as long as we stayed within that square footage parameter. So we kind of went back, and one, we wanted to make sure all the information was pretty clear and accurate. We color-coded everything. We've kind of, I don't know, you've all had a chance to look at this revised version. You know, aisle bin, racked it. So I don't know how much in depth you want to go with what we're going to move or change, but really the net result was, I think you had asked me to try to stay within about a 4,500 square foot area for, you know, the signage. We kind of squeezed everything down. We were at 4,642, so we got pretty close to that. And I can answer any questions from here. I don't know how much you want to recap from last meeting.
Okay, so your current is 4642 in signs, correct?
Correct.
And then in murals?
Let's see, signage mural area, 6206.
6206, yep, just making sure we're matching what the planner says here. 642. Any commissioners have any questions, or?
Just one comment on the second page of your drawing. You have a total square foot of it, 113 square feet. I think you meant 1,113. There's probably a typo on there, so.
Was that for a mural, or what number was
That's
that?
for the total signage, subtotal, you have, for the signage approved was 1,113 at the bottom of that first column.
Oh.
Instead of 100, or is that supposed to be 113?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 1,000, yeah.
It totals up to 1113. 1,113.
And that would match this table that you provided too, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I was just looking at your table that was on here, and I'm just trying to make it match. So before, and when you're saying approve, this was the previous zoning board approval, was for 2818 square feet of signage and 8086 of mural. And I didn't go back and check those numbers, and I'm assuming those were based on what we had approved at the last.
Actually, that was like actual, the 2018, I think you had approved 3,000, right?
Yeah, we had approved 3,800 square feet.
3,800 square feet.
Of mural. 3,800 square feet.
3,800 square.
That's right, I just want to make my thing that,
Back in September, yep.
yeah, 3,800. And what was the mural calculation? I didn't pull those forward.
I don't know if we ever had.
It was on the original, I can pull it off. It was on the original table. I was just trying to complete the table as you have here. And I know the planner also had it in his.
Okay. 8,086.
I just don't remember that number for the murals. Both packets all mixed up here.
So that's quite a difference, right? Because if we approve 3,800 in signage and on your table, it says signage approved is 2818.
3,800 was approved.
Yeah, so there's quite a considerable difference there, isn't there?
I think it's because that you didn't put them all up. They're
Yeah.
not all up yet.
That's correct.
Okay. I want to complete this table just so we all are looking at the same data, that we originally approved 3,800 square feet of signage, and then, murals were approved on the plans, and it was, so I'm looking, we had that number worked out last time, how much murals were approved.
On this sheet, it says 8,086.
No, I don't think that's right.
That's not
I
right.
think that's what was up. I don't know if that was what we originally approved. I can go back and look at the original minutes. Which I had up, right?
Yeah, I think the 8,086 was what was originally, because we counted space even if we didn't have a mural in it. So we've actually reduced,
Oh, here's some
the
minutes.
footprint of the murals, and,
Mhm.
we're asking for the increase in signage for 38, so it's about 842 square feet.
According to this, it's 1,880 approved for murals.
What was it?
1,880.
Total?
Yep.
Was that just on one elevation, or was that total?
That was total.
No, the total previous
No,
was
that-
8,086.
That's,
Because the motion, you just said what the murals are. The murals
Yeah, in our original motion in September of 16, we said that the murals
why does does this say?
wouldn't be counted as signs, but they had to stay in their footprint. I know we did the calculation, but I don't know.
I don't see a square footage of murals in.
I have his notes from Carlisle.
It's in Cal Wortman's letter.
It's in
Did
the
you see
bottom,
there?
the bottom right table.
Table 2.
No, I don't want to jump to conclusion. That's what's up?
That's correct. You know, those are the areas we actually, we submitted the site plan. So, for example, you have a larger area on the back in front of Splash. We didn't paint anything in that area, but we have it.
Okay, so the original 3,800 square feet in signs and 86 in murals. And then the last meeting, we had done the calculation that you would be allowed some additional square foot in signage, and now you're asking for, where's your table here?
We're actually reducing the murals by 25%. And we're asking for another, 800 square feet on signage.
Okay, so the planner was saying it was 4642 square foot in sign area and 6206 in mural area.
Yes.
And that's the correct numbers then?
And that correlates with his
Yeah.
table.
42 and 6206.
Yep.
Okay. I had all these numbers down, but I didn't put it on your table, which I should have done. Okay. So the original approval was for 3,800 square feet in signs. You're asking for 4642. Correct.
It's a difference of 842.
Mm-hmm. And the original was 8,086 square feet in mural, and you'll reduce that to 6206. And that's 1880, right? Somewhere around there.
Correct.
Okay, now that we all have the same numbers. Was there any more questions or comments there from,
Well, the only
The
one
commission
comment
for-
was in our review letter from Carlisle Workman's related to sign S2. Table has it at 85, the plan has it at 80. Your sign S2 is, on plan sheet, it shows at 80 square feet.
Okay.
Table it's 85.
S2 is,
S2.
yeah, it's page
85 on both
4
of
in the
mine.
planner's report.
okay.
Oh,
It's shown as 85 in the planner's report, and it's 80, right, in the,
Yeah, on plan sheet it's 80, and that is
South elevation?
south elevation. It's a mural, it's 80.
so assuming that the math matches, one of those numbers is right and one isn't.
So I'm assuming the 80 is wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
80. It's 80 square feet.
It's 80?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll make a note for the minutes that the planner's report then should say 80.
So the signage area is reduced by 5, right?
Yeah. So that would be 3795 then?
I'm seeing 85 on mine, my letters. I don't see the 80. What
Well,
Up
plan-
on the
Plan,
building.
If you look at the plan, south,
supplement A?
Right here. S2
Oh, on the
mural is
plan.
80 square
On the plan.
feet.
Okay, I see it.
so the signage request is 46.
So it should be 80, not 85?
Correct.
Table? Okay. Thank you.
Oh, to try that, yep.
That's in your assumption.
Yeah, 4637, I took it off the wrong one.
but that's a mural. Not a sign.
Oh, yes, it is.
So 6201.
Yeah, there's no change to that.
Okay. Okay. We'll have you sit down for now. If we have any more questions, we'll just call you back up.
Okay, one last point, just to confirm too, part of the request is the corporate Urban Air has changed the logo. So we asked for, copyright change on the Urban Air sign as well.
Is that in addition to what we talked about at the last meeting?
Well, we spoke about that at the last meeting.
That's the one. There wasn't an additional one. That's
Yeah,
the one where
we need,
now it's an A.
we need the ability to change copyright for Urban Air to meet requirements for Urban Air.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, on their table, though, it's showing Urban Air as a signage of 500 square feet, and you're proposing 0.
In the original
In this table.
variance that we
Zero
granted,
change.
it was stated that if Urban Air or Legacy change, they go back to.
There's no change in the square
They go to the
footage.
150.
For whatever reason, that particular sign, if we had changed a tenant or something, they wanted us to come back in front of the board and ask for approval for the sign that would go up in that space. And so in this case, it's not a new tenant, we've got a corporate requirement, they're changing the corporate logo, it's a franchise, so we need the ability to change the copyright. All right, thank you all for your time and consideration on this, appreciate it.
Okay, so there was, I guess, a couple issues to just discuss and see what the board wants to do. One is, in our previous set of minutes, we did say if those signs change, they would have to go back to the 150.
Right.
So we'll have to make a determination on that. And then we can break the other down, I guess, into signs and murals, or whatever the board really wants to do with that secondary part, so.
So we can get them together. I mean, we have now quantitative numbers.
Yeah.
Last time we didn't, and it was a good idea to put those up.
Yeah, right.
But this time I think the signs and murals can go together.
And now the square foot, what's on the diagram is matching what's on this. So
Yeah.
if we need to look at it in the future, we know which is a mural, which is a sign, and what it's supposed to look like. All right. Let's poll the board here, and what's your pleasure?
And this is related to the change to the copy.
Yeah, do you want to
Let's do
address
that
that first? Let's address that one first. How does everyone feel about that? I know we were pretty adamant before because those were so large in proportion to the rest. We felt it was taking up a lot of the
Well,
square foot of what would have been allowed. And it was, I think, part of the factor that we gave a bigger variance there is we were including that number in it, in anticipation, should that change, that number would be reduced. That was just one factor I know we discussed.
Right. Well, and right now they're looking for, 800 square feet?
Yeah.
Which 800 is the total of Legacy and Urban Air. If those went back to the 150 that we originally mandated, that would take up 500 square feet of what they're asking for right now.
Yeah, it would wash it.
So the addition would be minimal. And I know one of the other things, are we wanting to go over those separate? Because we had said nothing on the north side as well.
Exactly. Oh, thank you. That was the other element, the north side.
And now there's proposals there.
I guess we can just kind of throw all our ideas in each of the components out, because it might make a difference how we feel in the end. So you're of the opinion that that 150 would, really should, if they should go down to that, that would give them that leeway in the rest of it that's needed?
Yeah.
How about from this side, how do you feel?
Well, reading from the minutes from September 12th, 2016, should the signs identified as AB, which is Legacy Ignite, and AK Urban Air, be altered or changed from their exact appearance, the new allowed signage area should not exceed 150 square feet. So, I wasn't here, I wasn't part of that decision, but this is what the board decided. So, whether you uphold your decision or not is, I guess, on you. The other thing is no signage on the north or west side. It was approved that we would not allow signage on the north or west side. Now, last month, we did discuss, possibly the multi-tenant board beside the entrance, but nothing more than that. If we were going to bend at all on that, that's the only things that stand out to me.
It's pretty clear from our minutes that that was what we intended to do. Any changes to those would revert back. We let those be as they were, and it's pretty clear. I went back and read that. When I was here last time, I didn't think that was the case, but reading what was in the minutes, that's clearly the intent that we had.
I think it was because, if I remember right, and correct me if anyone remembers it different, it was already there, and we didn't feel the need at that point to make them repaint it smaller, but we felt that it would be appropriate if it was smaller. And so our calculations on the original granting of the square feet was based on the fact that that was larger, knowing that it would be smaller when it was replaced. And so that kept rattling around with me on that. Also, about no signs on the north and the west side. We were pretty much in agreement on that, just because of the residential nature of that. And I tend to still feel that way. The wraparound sign that was on that northeast corner, is that still a flag?
I'm not sure what it would be.
I got thinking about that last time, and I didn't look it up in our ordinance, but I don't know if we have specific requirements about flags, because a lot of communities do.
There is a U.S. flag code that requires specific lighting, specific union location. I mean, there's a lot of guidelines that
That's what
can't.
I thought, so you may want to look at that. It might not be allowed for that. I know a lot of people, might not like the looks of that. I know it kind of threw me. It's not something that you're advertising, in that building, and it's more of a sign than a logo, because it actually has meaning. So, I'm not in favor of that. I guess I just went on the record that we discussed that there's possible concerns with that really need to be addressed.
Yeah. And whatever changes we do make, I think they need to be very crystal clear, because I know whoever enforces the zoning or whatever, for what we're paying every time they have to go out and measure, it's quite the fiasco. It needs to be a clear cut, this is it, so when they go out and enforce this, there's no gray areas. It's, here's a size, period.
Okay, so the urban air, right now, AK. It says it's proposed 0, but it's not proposed 0. I'm looking at our table here.
Which one?
The most current one. The recent one.
Yep, so
There's no change in size.
Well, proposed would be 0.
Well, that's
when
if
you're
it stays at the 500.
Well, no, because that's a total independent column, so proposed signage, wouldn't that carry through?
it would change to 150 then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it changes, then technically it's supposed to go to 150, so the proposed would be an increase of 350 square feet.
Decrease.
Same with the legacy.
Be a decrease.
Be a decrease of 350.
It would, it would be 350.
Right now it's at 500.
Right, but I
Yeah.
think the intention is to change it and keep it at 500.
And so just, I'm looking at like the Yo Club, 175, and then the proposed is 0. So that sign is going away.
No, those are, can I interject?
Yeah.
The way this was set up was, we have approvals currently.
Mhm.
So if there's no change to the currently approved signage, there's no change. That's where the 0 is. So if you see on the left-hand column, it says approved. So for example, what was approved for the Yo Club is a 175 square foot sign.
Mhm.
So we're not asking for any change to that. And as it relates to the urban air sign, if you look at that south side, everything is in proportion. You have the actual sign for urban air, but you have all the murals on that sign to create that side. And, you begin to really impact our business. The original intent, if you go back to the copy, was we want, control or authority that if we change tenants, we want to know what that sign is going to look like. But to go from, if you look at that whole south side, and then erase urban air, which is an anchor tenant to the entire building, and put a 150 square foot sign that nobody can read from the highway, it's really doing us an injustice. And I'm not sure, from a creative perspective, or why, the copy of urban air this is not a major, it's not a major decision as far as impact in the community or impact as it relates to other tenants. It's already existing. We're just trying to comply with a change. So if we erase the urban air sign and put 150 feet, no one's going to see it. So the reason why we're designing the building the way we've designed it is because we don't own the property. We can't put any signs on the roof. We have very limited ability to have signage. So we've come up with a tasteful, creative way, to address the building so our tenants are successful. People driving by the highway have to see what's in the building. And, we did a survey for the entire community, and I gave you 2,500 emails with votes for not changing the Legacy Center. This is what the community is saying. And as far as the west side and the north side, I drove up and down that road. If you actually drive from those condos, you can't even see where we're proposing our sign. We have a tenant that we want to put in that space, and they deserve signage. No one is being impacted in the condo association because we're putting a sign facing the north side of the highway. You can't see it. I drove all the way in the cul-de-sac. There's trees there, the elevation, people sit down low. They can see the Meijer sign, they can see the McDonald's sign. So for us to put a sign where a tenant is going to be, allowing that tenant to market their business is not an unreasonable request. And the last bit that I want you to consider when you're looking at this total, and I don't want to go back into the calculations, but we can. When we first submitted this, we were looking at the total number of doors and tenants for the building. And so we had 19 current tenants, we had 25 doors. 25 doors is what was approved at 150 square feet. We actually have 36 doors. So if you take the 36 doors times 150, that's 5,400 square feet of allowable signage. Now, we've done this in a creative manner, but we have to. And this whole building is a creative manner. So, the last comment, Mr. Bailey, you asked us to try to simplify this.
Mhm.
And you said, Christian, look, we don't want to have to monitor, whether you change a sign or where you put a sign. We want to put a total square footage on the building. So we have a total square footage for you. And then we have, the elevations of where those signs will be. But I might have to move a sign to the left, to the right, but I'm not going to increase, the total signage. But if I have to make one smaller or one bigger to stay within the 4,600 square feet, then allow us to do that so we don't have to keep coming back to the board. It interrupts our business. I don't think that we've done anything that's distasteful or that is really harming this community as it relates to signage. It is so important for our tenants to be accurately represented in this building for them to be successful. And in order for this building to exist, we need tenants, and we need business, and we need customers. So as you're considering this and moving back and forth, with all due respect, I hope you really consider the investment in this building and the uniqueness of this building and the purpose of the signage. I'm not up here fighting for signage because I love signs. I'm up here fighting for signage because it's a economical requirement for us to be successful.
How many doors did you say you had?
There's 36 doors. They're marked on.
Okay, I went through today and drove it and marked every one on
They're all numbered.
the map here. And of the public doors, and I marked them on here, there's only 20 public doors. Are there going to be doors that are public that aren't public right now?
Yeah, they're all marked on we have each door marked and numbered that are public doors.
Let me tell you, part of my frustration is when I went to the township today to get a as-built, like what the plan is, where the doors are going to be, this is all I had. This is all that they had at the township. There's no site plan.
That's not accurate.
There's nothing on the floor plan for the entire building with how it's going to be laid out at the township.
Yeah, I don't know what they gave you, but obviously we're required to have all of that, and it changes as we've grown.
Yeah, she said there's individual components as they're coming in, but there's no one.
Because the building, you can't look at this as a project like we just built this brand new. So it's a moving, living building, right? So we buy it, we start to build it, we develop. We don't know who's coming in from last year to this year. So, but we have site plan, we have floor plans, believe me. They're all aisle bin and racked at the township. I'm not sure why they gave you our literature.
But you had mentioned you had 25 doors. I think there's another statement in here, 24 doors. I guess we just need a little more clarity on
What they are, they're
what
marked.
the increase is from how many doors we originally had in the proposal back in 2016 to what it
Right,
is
and
today.
that's why I pulled.
But I don't know, the point is there are more doors than the
Right.
25, and they're marked on our site plan.
And that's, I think, part of your argument too, is that you need some increased signage with those doors, right?
Yeah, as we put in more tenants, the question a year ago is, well, who are you going to put in there?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to take 2,000 square feet, 1,500, 5,000 square feet. I don't know. But this site plan is pretty complete as far as the number of doors and entrances but overall, because we can spend the next 3 hours talking about it, really the impact of this is we have a plan for you that you can regulate. We don't have to keep coming back and forth. It's good for the businesses, and it is not interrupting our neighbors in any way, shape, or form.
On this site plan, you have 36 doors. Is that
Correct. Yes.
So you're going from what we originally had granted your variance, around 24 doors, I believe it was.
It was based on 25.
It's based on 19.
19 doors?
Yeah.
Okay, so 19 doors up to 36.
19 tenants, based on
19 tenants.
Well,
but there was
the motion says 21 signs, 19 tenants, having 24 public access
24
doors.
24 doors, so now
Yeah.
you have 36.
Correct.
There's not 36 doors there.
Well, that's what's on this site plan.
Some
Well,
of
are
those doors are
these-
not public doors. They're loading doors and they're not, I went through and drove it. There's
How
20.
many doors can
plus one
people
public
just
door.
walk in at any given time? Not a fire door, not a locked door. Just
36
if I
doors.
walked over there during business
36
hours,
doors.
how many doors could I just walk in?
Yeah, we didn't count all the doors around the building. I think there's 50-something doors
But how many
building.
doors? If I walk over during business hours, can I walk in
Well-
to the building?
So today, is different than when we finish our construction. So, for example, on the north side, when we talk about putting a music school in, we have 2 big loading doors. So you might drive by that and not count that as a door, but we'll frame that in and put a glass entrance and put a door for those tenants. So, and then there are tenants that, for example, Crush, that don't have, their doors on the outside of the building, but it's kind of tucked away back in, a little cul-de-sac. I don't know. So,
I guess part of our frustration is that the last variance request, the very original one, we said, ask for it now. What you need, ask for it now, because this is it.
we
But it's
didn't
not
know.
it. It came-
And if you look at my response, it hasn't changed. There's no smoke and mirrors here. You see the Legacy Center develop.
Well,
you know,
I'm not
since-
accusing you or anything. I understand
Okay.
things change. I'm saying it was set at a point in time, we made a decision, we said, this is it. And now it's all changing. And so it takes a long time to kind of process all this because it's a big change. And
Well-
our ordinance requires based on, how many tenants, how many square feet of frontage, how many,
This is a 200,000 square foot building. I'm asking for an 800 square foot variance. And I'm reducing,
An
I'm
additional.
reducing
No,
the
that-
murals by 2,000 square feet.
I don't believe the 800 square foot variance is correct. You're saying an 800 additional square feet?
I'm asking for 4,642 square feet, and the approval was 3,800 square feet, right? So it's 842 square feet. That's what I'm asking for.
Well, that's, the variance is based on the original zero amount, variance on the variance. We're going back to zero, which is what would be allowed in this building. That's still what we were trying to,
So I'm
To
coming back a
pinpoint.
year later, which is, I'm not sure what we didn't or did put on the record, but the conversation is always the same. You guys want concrete answers, and a year ago, I couldn't give you concrete answers because I couldn't tell you tenant configurations. And we asked for copyright change during that period because we knew things would change.
Right.
So, and as far as urban air is concerned, the intent was if you change a tenant, but when you look at that whole side of the building, if you put a 150 square foot sign on the south side and we erase that, it'll look silly, number one. But number two, it does our business a grave injustice for really no reason. It's just a copyright change. So, when you look at the north side of the building, one of the things you asked us for, you wanted to know what was going to be up there. I drove that specifically. You can barely see the building, the top of the roof from those condos. There's absolutely no impact to those tenants or to those folks living next door to us. Absolutely none. Thank you.
so we know what our sign ordinance says. We kind of went around and around it based on number of doors, square footage, number of tenants. We made that
We came up with a
determination.
number.
And we came up with a
We came
number.
up with a number
Yeah.
of 4550.
Yep.
At our last meeting would be the
Right.
number.
Would be the number.
Right
Yeah.
now, he's at 4642. So it's over by 92 square feet.
And in our first agreement, it was at 3,800, right?
Correct.
So we go back to zero, right? And then we go back to the ordinance, and then we get a new ordinance, I
And we
guess.
did that, that's what we did last time.
Okay, so we're not
Because last
doing
time we
any, we're
looked
not
at
doing the
19
differences.
We look at 1910 this time to 150.
Yeah.
To get to the 2850.
Correct.
When we last met, we took 24 times 150 to get to 3,600. And we added 950 to get to 4,550.
How many tenants now? 50? Did you say?
No.
It was 19
24
originally.
tenants was 3,600.
24 tenants was 3,600.
3,600, right. And that's why I went and pulled, I really wanted to bring the board a site plan, a floor plan, so that we actually had something, and I couldn't, so that's what I had this, and that's why I actually drove and marked, there's common entrances, and then there's private entrances, like along the front, there's one public entrance, possibly two, depending on how it's laid out inside, and then the rest are private entrances, and then the others around the building are, for the most part, like a public entrance that goes to more than one. And that's where I came up, there's 20, plus it looks like there's one for the robotics team, so 21 doors that can be used now. There's other doors that are not public doors that
They are?
possibly could be, in the future, but right now they're solid doors, you can't see through them and they're locked. But
So what you're saying is that this 36 doors on this site plan are not all public doors?
they're not all public doors, no. Today, as I went, 20 doors opened, one did not, but one looked like it was going to open, that was maybe just locked at the time. Another one, there was a business going in, so that one, I counted. But that's how many doors I could go in. The rest were, like the ones on the north side, there's sliding glass patio doors that, have different shades up. They're definitely not public doors. It's not to say that they couldn't be converted into public doors in the future. They could. The problem is, we're kind of deciding future and present, and that's
Yes.
what makes it
Challenge.
a challenge.
Yeah.
That's what makes us a little more unique than the others. When we come in with a set plan, we know how many doors, what's going to be in there, and how many tenants. I don't really
Well, every
have
time a
good-
tenant moves in, we're gonna be right back here approving this one.
Right.
I think we just need to stick to here's a square footage, make it work, just like, like we talked about in the last meeting.
Right.
You go down to Great Lakes Crossing, and there's not a big sign on the wall that says Cinnabon is here. That's on a sign going in. You have your pillar stores where, the fact is, we're here because all of this went up long before anything was approved. So we gave forgiveness last time, and now we're right back here. And this is what we need to prevent, because I know the discussion is there's no impact, but, if you read any of the social media, half this community wanted everybody appointed by this board, township board, everybody voted out because of these signs. And this is getting out of hand. We need to come up with a definitive, say, this is it, make it work, we're done talking about this.
Yeah, as I was driving around, because they still get their sign in the window of the door and stuff. There's still ways that you can identify who's there. On top of that, they had signs at the public entrances that told you what you would get into. And, I even made a note, like that public sign said, you could get into the 440, 246, 244, 165, 163, and then it named each of those. So if I was
Right.
trying to find it, I could. Obviously, they need to have their anchor stores, kind of like a mall, what their anchor stores are, get their bigger ones. But I think the rest,
But we're getting bigger
You're
and
gonna
bigger and more, and I think we
Right.
just need to say, here's a square footage. If one comes down, make it work. If you want to put 10 more murals up, then the 500 square foot urban air needs to be in proportion. If urban air is that important, then 3 or 4 tenants may not get big murals on the side of the building.
Right.
I think we've been lenient enough.
So you would get, without being specific, you'd say, here's your number. You live with it,
Here's a square footage.
but you could make one sign,
Sure.
4,500, whatever the number is.
Mhm.
Good, right, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, I think we need to limit it. I don't think we want one.
I think we need
We
to
don't want a
area.
billboard there.
Mr. Bailey, I think we need to limit something.
Yeah, we need.
Right, but
150 square feet is a pretty big sign.
Yes, that's okay. We're going over last time. I'm just doing some math here.
which last time we gave what, 3,800?
38, it was 4550 is what we ended up.
4,550?
I think the
So that's
directions-
basically 30 murals, or 30 signs,
At 150.
at 150 square feet each.
And if you choose to make one,
Make
300.
2 of them at 75, there's your square footage.
doesn't that create an administrative issue from the standpoint of code enforcement? Instead of having a plan that definitively defines what's here, this is what's here, this is it, instead of someone having to go around and recalculate all that. Does that not make that more of a legislative issue, an enforcement issue for somebody to administer? I think it's making it extraordinarily complicated.
Yeah, because on one hand, you want to see
We're
the
asking
elevation
someone
and
to do
match it
that.
up.
And that, I mean, it could change. I mean, I like the idea, but I'm just concerned about the enforcement of said idea.
Also, we have murals to decide on as well, right? So if you put it all in one lump sum as signage, right, we're considering murals as well.
And I will say, I want to add in there, we're being extremely generous too by allowing the murals, because murals are considered signage as well, and really should be added into the calculation.
Well, it adds to the building. We all decided.
Right.
Yeah.
At our last, in the 60.
Right.
And back in 2016, that it had a purpose, a style, a
Right.
creativity, and it
Right.
really added to this building. Taking those away, I think was do a disservice.
Right.
So I think that's where we will go.
We were,
I mean,
but there's a
in my
lot
mind,
of
we need a-
murals.
We need a plan.
Yeah.
We need a plan, we need to agree upon a plan. I don't want to give our enforcement people a nightmare, having to deal with this every single time.
Mhm.
I mean, because it is kind of simple to change these.
Yeah.
The guy was out there today painting.
Mhm.
So it can be changed pretty quickly. I think we
Right.
need to come to a conclusion based on a plan that can go into a file. That's it. And we're done.
Yeah, in terms of the west side, that west and that north side, in terms of putting signage there, I still have concerns with that. It's not along a major thoroughfare. It's really advertising to a subdivision or to what's just in that there, and I don't think anything is necessary there other than the identification of at the public doors and of the entrances themselves, of what's going to be at that entrance, which could be very small. And they need to save room on that north side to identify what's in the back and the north side of that building so people know to go around. You can't drive around the building, you're kind of locked in, one way to the other. You have to come in one way or the other. And so if you're looking for that, training facility or build your temple,
Well, there's no parking back there, is there?
there's a parking lot,
Mhm.
but it's gravel. It doesn't meet the requirement of being a paved lot.
Brand new parking lot. It is being paved.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're just spending $300,000 to renovate that whole side of the building, where we have a bar, restaurant, bowling alley. So, yeah, we need signage there. It's not just for people driving
Right,
by
I'm not
it.
saying you don't need signage, because you're gonna need signs for what goes into each of those doors. There's no question about that. In terms of big signage, no. That's, my opinion, it's not necessary,
Well,
because it's not along a major corridor.
there's only two signs that face west, but that is our event center and that's our restaurant bowling alley. But, I'm in agreement with you. I think on both sides of this, to have a plan, we have a plan. We're within, 80 square feet of the requested amount. The locations, the sizes, I can live with this. I'm not asking to change it. The reason why we put empty boxes and squares where we don't have tenants yet is so we have planned for future growth. So, on the north side, we do have, 2 or 3 tenants that we'd like to put in that side. They're currently rolling doors. So you wouldn't count them as a door, but they will be a door. And they deserve to have a sign up front. So, that's the purpose of this site plan.
And on the north elevation, I guess you have murals going to signs, right? But I guess there's some confusion on the note saying that there is no signage on west or north elevations from our last meeting. So how did that happen?
that was what was going to be taken back and considered. I think there was a strong consensus that large signs, other than just the directional signs and what's at each door, would not be wanted at that west and
I
north
see.
side.
But a mural would be. Is that
Well,
fair to say?
that's even, there wasn't a strong support for a lot of decoration on that side, especially that west side, because of the visibility when you're coming from Market Street. It's pretty visible through there.
Right, and there's a new mural and a new sign over there, right?
Okay, why don't we just take the consensus here? Do we all agree that the signage at the doors, a reasonable sign at each of the doors to identify what would be in there, on those public doors? There's 2 doors on the west side indicated now. Maybe it would help. Okay, if you guys want to share that one, I made a couple copies. Okay, here, grab that. I might have one more. I just got 3 copies of that. Okay, so when you're
There's
looking
one
at,
on the west and one on the kind of the.
yeah, when you're looking at the west for those 2
On the west
teardrops,
first?
that, kind of that northwest corner, there's those 2 teardrops, those are the 2 public entrances. And so those had directional signs of what was in, if you went through those doors, you could get to it. I think those are necessary. But on that,
Which ones are you talking about? Doors 26 and 27? Or?
yeah, when you're looking at the purple,
Okay.
we'll do the purple
Cordini
side.
tree and,
Yeah, where those 2 teardrop pointers are, those are designating the public entrances for that northwest corner.
okay.
So it would be door 30,
Door 30 by 925 Bar and Grill.
door 30, and then door 36.
36 is on the north elevation, right?
Yes.
In that area in purple, and on the west wall of where Splash is, I myself would not be in favor of any
Yeah, they don't
murals
have-
or any other signage. And I'll
There
just-
is no signage shown
Right,
on the west elevation. But there is a mural.
murals or signs.
The lower is what
That's
was
just me.
already approved. We had 4 murals already approved on the west side.
There was a lot of discussion on that one. The consensus is we didn't really want, I think it was a splash or a swimmer, that on that backside. It's a subdivision that backs up to that.
But we have approved
I'm just-
before.
One member here, but I'm trying to break this down into what we want to
Right.
see on each side to kind of whittle this down. My opinion is the directional signs are important at the doors, the public doors. And if they want to put, one reasonably sized wall sign on one of those faces, it's not real big to identify what's there for that parking lot area. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Anything more, I think, is going above and beyond what would be reasonable.
Well, these 4 are the murals approved, correct?
The lower elevation on the west side,
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
those are what was presented to us
Mhm.
when we approved the variance.
are those painted yet?
What's shown on the lower part, I believe, is what's painted today.
Well, what's shown on the chart is, the signage is 0, that sign it, and then there's murals marked, but those murals want to be turned into signs.
Are we still looking at the west?
Yes,
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 murals on the west, right?
what's being proposed, yes.
And then you're going to add another proposed sign, W5, and a proposed mural, kids jumping, W2, right? So you'll have a total of 1.
No, it's my understanding that the murals would be changed to signs.
On the
No.
west end?
Nope, not
No,
on
the
this.
murals are
I
staying.
think you're looking
They're
at the
adding a
south.
mural and adding a
The
sign.
north. You're looking at the north, Joe.
Yeah, look at this one.
Okay, yep, sorry. Well, no, west elevation, right?
Yeah, the
they
west
totaled it on
elevation.
the bottom there.
So the
It might be a
green
little
are no
confusing.
changes. Those are, if you look at the green, those are already approved. So the three green are
Yep.
existing. The yellow is a new proposed mural.
Yep.
To even that out. That's not that big of a deal. And then the only thing we're asking for is one sign. So
The W5.
W5. So we can, on the west side, what's already approved is 4 murals. So we were asking for additional mural and a sign.
Okay, just procedurally,
I had 5 murals.
did we approve that 1,500 square foot splash?
Yes.
Just previously?
Yeah.
That was there.
It was there, but I don't know that we actually approved that.
Sign was called.
Yeah, 'cause it was
Sign
supposed to be-
8U, And requested we change that to 1,500 square feet.
Okay. I remember we were talking about, so it was reduced to 15?
That was
Yeah.
1,500.
Okay.
So what's happening is you're adding one mural and one sign on the west side.
To the 5 murals already there.
We can take off the yellow mural. We can work with the existing murals and just add one sign.
I don't have
For
a
me-
problem with an additional mural. I have a problem with the size of the 925 bar and grill sign.
I would prefer to see a mural be, if they want that 9 to 5 sign, I would, I don't want any more murals, and I would prefer they replace an existing mural with the 925.
Well, isn't there already a 925 going on the front?
And on the south side. There's 3.
So for every new tenant coming in, we're gonna add 3 new murals.
Yeah, in terms of that, from what we already have, I would say replace one of the existing murals with the 925 and not add a proposed mural. No more murals, and reduce one mural to add the 925 sign if that's what they want,
At that size, the
on the west
sign.
side.
Because
On the
that's going to be
west
an
side.
entrance.
Yeah.
And,
So it's-
you have this in your packet. Your next one.
Do you want to delete M2 or W?
What do you have?
W2?
There, putting parking in the public.
Yeah.
Enhancing that area.
Yeah, let's go. But
So that
that
sign-
other area, that's what we're not sure what's going in that.
And so, which one's it?
It's W2. Kids jumping.
W2's out?
Oh.
Yeah.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 murals and a sign.
The kids jumping, you're calling W2 on the chart here.
W2.
The old was AZ, so now it's W2.
Are we good with the west?
Yep.
Are we good with the west?
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
Let's go to north.
and so they're gonna
North.
replace, okay, let me just make sure I got that right. We're not allowing the kid jumping one, and we're replacing any one of those murals with a 925 sign?
Just
Over.
deleting W2.
Just deleting W2. That's right.
And allowing the addition of the sign on top of the murals there?
So the mural will move over. There's an existing
W5
mural.
is actually where
That mural
there's
will
already a
move over.
mural
So,
approved.
On top of that.
See here. You have this mural, this mural, this mural, and this mural approved. This mural would just become a sign. So you'd have 1, 2, 3 smaller murals and the big 1,500.
Okay, because I want to correlate this to that as well, or we're just going to use that,
Yes.
one or the other. So do you want a clean copy of that and just make everything that we're agreeing on this set?
Okay.
Okay,
So no,
so cross off that W2
Yep.
right now.
W3 is existing. W4
Is new.
is new, so no to W4.
The W4 is a mural that was approved.
Yeah, saying it was approved.
Yeah, but we're making that
Right.
the sign,
We're
so
replacing
W4 would become a sign.
W4 with the 925.
this, it's saying W5 is a new sign,
It is.
and you're saying W4 is
Yeah.
going to a sign?
Yeah, look on your drawing here.
And it's X for that.
We have these 3 murals here. He's now wanting to add this one and actually put another mural here. So what we're saying is this one, and this one stay, this one becomes a sign. There's no new one going in this opening here.
So W4 is gone?
Because right here, correct. W4 is becoming a sign, there is no W5.
Doesn't say that. on here.
W5 is becoming the sign. If you look at the mural below,
So no W4 mural, W5 is a sign.
Yep.
Okay.
And then just on each of them put, yes, so we have one clean set of
Doesn't
them.
make any sense.
I thought we agreed to delete them too. But if you just take it from the proposal.
Yeah.
And just delete
This is the new mural. You're deleting it.
then the only thing that
Well,
changed is.
Let us work this out and then
Sign.
take the notes. We'll go over it one more time. If you have any more comments, we'll bring it up.
W2 is this one.
Right.
That one's,
You're deleting
no.
it.
We're deleting that. But if you look down here, this is what.
We're making you reduce one mural on that back wall
One,
to
two,
replace with the 925.
Right.
What mural you want to
If you
replace
wanted to add a
is
mural
fine,
and a sign.
the placement of
We're
it
saying no,
is
that
fine.
you have to take
But
one
we
of
have
these
that total
three,
count.
and that becomes a sign. So that you're still gonna have.
One of the
these-
existing murals is going to be replaced with the
This
925
can stay as a
sign.
mural.
And
this
no
can stay as a
additional
mural,
murals.
This becomes a sign. So you'll have 2 murals, a sign, the main entry, then the baseball player on that side.
There's the baseball player on this?
Remember that the
Karate
murals,
Okay.
what's in that mural isn't as significant, so if he wants to.
Because this is showing 5 murals, or 4 murals and a sign.
Right.
We're saying, no, this originally was 3.
No, it's 4. 1, 2, 3,
Right,
4.
1, 2, 3 to up to the door. 1, 2, 3, this one becomes a sign.
Okay.
So they're keeping this mural, and this mural. This mural is being changed to a
And that
sign.
mural.
don't forget about him.
Plus this big mural.
No, I know that.
See, if you look here, there's 4 murals, a sign, and then another mural.
Okay, so you're not gonna, you're
No,
saying to take
We're
away the
saying
mural,
no to that one,
and you're gonna say no to a mural?
no to that one, and that mural becomes a sign.
To the murals?
So the net change over what was approved is a mural will become a sign.
Correct.
Okay. Let's tackle that north wall next. That has very few on it. So originally on the north wall,
Originally, we had said nothing on the north wall. No signs on the north wall.
no signs. But we had approved 4 murals on that north wall? Or the north face?
They're all murals.
The one entrance that's a public entrance doesn't face, if you're looking at the green area, that floor plan, on the far right, upper corner is where that door is. It's up here, this one right here. That door is a public door right now. These here, every, pardon?
They're sliding glass doors.
The others, but it's not just sliding glass doors, there's a wall. So even if you came from the parking lot, there's no way to really make that a public entrance. I don't know, sidewalk and parking and things like that. You'd be going through this other doorway to come in and going across the hallway. I mean, I see that one being a public doorway, but it doesn't really face anything in terms of putting a sign there. Then there's the loading bays and the the more commercial or industrial type, the dumpster and that kind of storage is back there.
Door 33 would be converted to a.
Right, I know you're gonna be fixing that area up. But, not having a good site plan in front of us, I'm still, doorway identification signs, I don't have a problem with on the public door.
I mean, the stuff that we don't govern. I mean, it's allowed within the ordinance. You're talking.
Those were included, those are the ones where they're listing all the businesses in that doorway, that is included in the plans. So I would allow on any of the public doors in a reasonable size, that listing, I think,
At N2?
when it's the multiple tenant. Yeah, yep,
And that's that door,
yeah.
which is N2. Right? That's N2. Which is that door.
Yeah, those we already dealt with. I'm talking about in this, trying to deal with that green shaded area, which would be kind of like that northeast section. On this map, this is what we're looking at here now. There really wasn't anything up in here to get in. I imagine there's gonna be a public door.
So currently, we have 4 murals approved on that, no signage on the north end.
Right.
Correct.
He wants to move 3 of those murals to a lower square footage to signs and keep 1 mural.
I wouldn't have a problem with, where any of them are a public, a true public door, having a multi-tenant identifier
Yeah.
sign there, and nothing more. Yeah,
Well,
in
it
terms
makes
of
sense- It
additions.
makes sense for door 36. Looking at with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Correct.
makes sense. Yes, that makes sense.
So if the mural to the left of door 36 becomes the sign, the other 3 murals can stay the way they are.
So they can get into the corridor. So that is a public door.
Yeah, but eventually, if he adds another public door,
Yeah, I saw,
then one of those has to go, and it would be converted to a multi-tenant public door sign. Would that work for the future?
I'm sorry.
Where there's mural, we're saying that the one mural is going to be replaced with a multi-tenant
That's the
public
one
door.
to the right or left of 36.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's 3 more murals on top of that. On those existing 3 murals, if they add another public door and they want to put another sign in for that, one of those murals has to go, and that would be replaced then by a multi-tenant directional sign at another public door.
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna want this at every.
There's 2
public- That's a
faces.
main door.
There's 2 faces. I'm kind of talking about that whole north elevation, so there could be a component here. I'm just trying to do some kind of thing. If he
Yeah.
wants to add another public door, one of the existing murals can be transformed to a public door multi-tenant sign. I foresee, because they're doing a lot of additions, I foresee that they're going to possibly put another door in there at some point, and it would prevent them from having to come back and redo it. And the signs are definitely big enough, even on those multi-tenant, you can see them from quite a ways back.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of where that would.
What does it's gonna have to reserve some space in the front for some of those. What does the board feel about just possibly having multi-tenant signs at the doors as opposed to anything else in those locations? I mean, we could allow for up to 3 public doorways with multi-tenant identifier
With
sign.
50 square foot on it
Yeah.
each.
That was the overhead door there. He's doing 36. Who's gonna do his into
I mean, just the opinion that it's more important to have the identifiers, the three at public doors of what's in there as opposed to anything else. I don't think murals or any other signs that should be warranted there. But that's just my... Because before it was just murals, he wasn't granted any signs, so this is totally in addition to what we had granted
Right.
before. So I'm saying,
Just leave
No
everything the way
murals.
it is and grant 3 new,
no, I wouldn't,
Multi-signs?
no, this is replacing the murals.
Oh.
Because he's saying replace the murals with signs. That was the proposal. That's on here. It's replace the murals with signs.
yeah.
You're saying here.
So I wouldn't be opposed to having 3 signs that are multi-tenant on a public door. If there's no public door, there's no sign.
So nix the 4 murals and say you can have 3 multi-tenant signs up to 50 square feet?
At public doors. What's your feeling on that?
I guess I'm lost on the third public. See door 36.
I believe that he's going to add one. From seeing what's been presented and the additions, they're going to improve that parking lot. That was what was in front of Planning Commission. So I think there's going to be another public door added in that area somewhere along that north face.
The west side of the north face or the north side of the?
The entire site, somewhere along that north
They're
face.
saying a third sign somewhere.
Yeah, there'll be a third public entrance somewhere.
Just say they can have up to 3 signs.
Right.
Place them wherever you want them.
Up to 3 signs at the public entrances.
Okay, so that'll take care of the north.
And there's an existing mural that's there.
No more murals, no. That replaces the murals.
With that first sign there, that N1, looks like it's at a higher elevation. We doing the applicant injustice by not keeping it at that elevation? And lowering that?
Well, that's a music school, that's a sign, we're not allowing the sign. That was supposed to be a mural. Music school is a sign that
Correct.
wouldn't be allowed.
Correct.
It wouldn't be there.
I
Yeah.
understand. What you're suggesting is to have 3 multi-tenant signs
Right, at the doors.
at a lower elevation.
Yes. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so I guess when I'm saying the multi-tenant, it would look identical to all the other multi-tenant signs in height and location. Is that what you're saying?
That's what you're saying, and I'm saying that the N1 is at a higher elevation. It looks like to me that that proposed sign elevation is key for that particular business.
Again, I think we talked about not having signage in that area. That was what our original variance was. Are you saying that you would like to see a sign there?
It seems like it's important as the proposed information on this drawing, is that elevation is important to that business. I could see the multi-tenant sign at a lower elevation, and this other one, N3, looks like a larger 200 square foot sign that takes up basically the entire wall. But the lower elevation right at the curb, basically. And is that where the other multi-tenant sign would be? Because I guess I'm struggling with where those locations would be on this particular
They would
drawing.
be at the public, like, again, the plan isn't set in terms of the floor plan, so we don't know where the public doors are gonna be.
Right,
We would be allowing a multi-tenant sign up to 3 on the north face of the building.
so not exceeding 3.
Now, I mean, if you think more is, consistent and fair, I would be happy to hear it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just struggling with why you would need 3 multi-tenant signs on one side in a very short distance.
Well, it's not a short,
Is that where there's multi-tenants access for that particular end of the building?
Well, the music school.
there's a north, this is the north face as well. That's north face. And all of that is north face.
Yep.
So I'm assuming 1, 2, 3 entrances, somewhere along that.
No, I fully understand.
Yeah.
I'm just struggling with the fact that you need 3 multi-tenant signs on the north face.
The door 33, we have intentions of creating a music school there, so it would be an independent tenant, not a public, the access from the public to the door. But the reason why I proposed the sign for the elevation so you can see it,
Right.
from the highway, and it's a tenant, it's not a, doesn't have the same purpose as door 36, which is a hallway into, a number of tenants.
Where you need a multi-tenant sign there.
Where we need those. So I don't need another multi-tenant sign on the north side, but I do need the ability to put a sign up for a tenant,
A single tenant.
a single tenant.
Right.
And, the compromise here would make things easier. If you gave me the door 33 and the multi-tenant sign, I would agree to delete the N3 and just keep one mural. Okay. The reason for the murals too, it's not just decorative. We save those for trying to represent or tell a story for a tenant that's inside. So even though we won't put, escape there, we might put an escape room or something, so as you have all the tenants coming in, they can look and say, oh, that's cool, they have, 24-hour CrossFit or something like that. So, all of it is designed for marketing. There will be a lot of activity in that back parking lot. So it's not just seeing it from the highway, it's about, helping the tenants market their business. But the music school, or that door 33, will definitely be tenant-based. And then, door 36 is a door that we have multiple access. But we do have a number of tenants in that hallway. One mural, and I could delete that one sign for the 24-hour CrossFit, or make it smaller.
So my question would be, if you're going to approve the 925 Bar and Grill sign on the west elevation, why would you not approve the music school sign on the north elevation? You know what I'm saying? It's the same. I mean, he's adding a sign. And if you're going to approve the one that's on the west elevation, it's the same size, it's within 16 square feet of each other.
The sign on the north is 4 square feet bigger, right?
Yeah.
216 to 220.
Yeah.
It's just at a different elevation, right? So
Yeah.
people can see it from the Lapeer
Right.
Road, right, going
Right.
south?
And then the question comes in, do they need to be this big? The original plan was 150 square feet.
Right.
You got 216 here, 220 on this one.
Kind of needs to meet the 150.
Yeah, it needs to stick to the 150 for any new sign.
We just,
It really, where it's at and where it's located, it doesn't look at the
Yeah.
residential. You wouldn't see it like you would see it along the west side.
Right.
I think putting the sign there, doing the multi-tenant, and keeping the one mural.
Oh, well, you approved the mural at 295, right? And he's reducing the sign to 220, right? For the music school sign?
Well, I agree with the 150.
So that's, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that I don't either, but he's already taken that mural size from 295 to 220.
But he's also,
And it's changing
if we
it from
take
a
away the
mural to a
mural
sign.
concept, he's adding a sign.
Yeah, right.
He's adding a sign,
I get it.
right.
I mean, to me, that, I want to get that to more in conformance. That one, I think, needs to be the 150. Music square.
And then the multi-tenant.
Multi-tenant, I like where that one's at.
50.
50 square
And then
feet.
the mural, I like that.
And then
At
mixing
200,
the
because he's
N3.
reduced. Or is that the 190? I'm sorry, it's
The mural's at
190. 190.
The other, the N3 is gone.
And then
the
N3
CrossFit should be
goes,
150, they all should be 150.
CrossFit's off. Delete it.
So there's two signs and a mural.
So you have a 50, a 150, and a mural. That's
yep,
Yeah,
so that one's
remove,
gone.
Yep,
190.
and this one's right, okay.
Okay,
150,
50 and 190 for that mural.
and that's a no.
And then that's a no.
Okay, good.
So 150.
Are we using your drawing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is our clean copy.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
gosh.
Okay, we're good on the north.
I will sign that, and we're gonna turn that in
We're done with
tonight.
North? We got any
Yes.
more discussion on that one?
No, I'm good with that.
Good.
Yep.
Everyone good with that?
Good.
So then
What do we want to go through?
the west we've done.
Yep, west and north are done.
South elevation,
Yeah, let's do south, that's next to that, it has two public entrances.
and the only real question there is adding the Bulls boxing and keeping the urban air at the 500.
I'm,
Changing that mural to a sign. And he's reducing
Yeah.
from 140 to 80 square feet on S11.
Yes. And then increasing the size of the mural on S12.
That's staying the same at 160, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
The box looks, I guess just for graphical purposes, okay. If it's the same, it's fine.
But S2's 80 square feet, not 85. So. That's showing
S2,
is 80.
S2 is
Yep.
80.
Yep.
Correct.
It's just not correct on this table.
but this one already showed that it was approved.
mural,
80 square feet. The only one they're changing is this one on the end. Mural to
Right.
sign.
Okay.
That's 11.
so that stays the same.
That stays the same.
Blue one. All these
S11
screens
is
were
a
already,
change of mural to a sign.
And this is the one that they want to change the
Modify.
copy and keep it at the 500 versus the 150 we agreed on.
Now, where does it show the wraparound on this would be?
That's that part of the flag, and then this is the other
Where
part.
was the hatch? And we haven't looked at that elevation yet.
No.
Been our way around to it.
Which, you've got this Bulls boxing here, walk right around the corner and you have another one.
Right, the two there. No, I say something either has to go, that urban has to go back down to what we had originally said in the original motion, which is 150. If they're gonna want an additional sign here, or the mural's gotta go.
so that's 85 for this one. Yeah, you got 80. Okay,
Yep.
good.
I wouldn't have a problem with adding the 80 square foot Bolts Boxing, but I would take away the mural on the corner. And then I guess see what the board wants to do about the sign for the urban.
You have to change that because of a copyright.
Yeah.
So it's modified, basically.
It's a total different, now it's
Yeah, it's just a.
like a circle with a U.
Which I don't see how or why it would take up that whole 500 square feet.
Either do I.
You
It's-
still have
it's-
to have urban air. You still have to call out the name what it is.
I will ask you about that urban air one, because that's going from words to, it's a circle, right, with was it a UA? A UA in the middle. So how would that take up that total?
UA trampoline park.
Pardon?
Would be UA trampoline park.
Oh, you're gonna have words trampoline park?
So you'll need 500 square feet for that, or something.
No, but
less.
they want
They
500
want
square feet.
500.
Well, we don't want to change what's there. You know, people like the south side of the building,
Right.
and it's for marketing and advertising.
Right.
You know,
The only thing that extends that makes it longer is this is urban air. Now you have a symbol. The trampoline park wouldn't squeeze in this way.
Right, I think,
I mean, why is it,
We still need 500 square feet on that.
our motion was really clear. I mean, we did in the beginning.
Right.
It was too big, it needed to be reduced. We said 150, just because we were trying to get them all at 150. It's, it's not a super visible sign in terms of, you got the McDonald's there, which kind of blocks it from the northbound traffic. It's not.
it's visible.
Yeah,
It's visible. But is it visible because of the size?
yeah, I would say take off the mural on the corner, replace the mural next to it with the 80 square foot boxing sign. I don't have a problem with that. And
You're taking S12 off?
that would be me. I would say if they want a sign, they're gonna have to get rid of one of the murals there in that corner.
Well, the mural, I believe, is already there,
Right, but if they want
but
a
it's not a
sign,
flag, so it's getting repainted.
right, but if they want a sign,
And
I-
there's
I
already a
would-
Bulls boxing on
right,
the other
I would say
corner.
either no sign at all, but if they want a sign, I would say they're gonna have to get rid of one of the murals and put the sign
I
there.
would say no to the Bulls boxing. Leave the mural as it is,
They have two
but if
murals
it's,
back to back.
but if it's gonna be a flag, well, this is this part and this part.
Right, right.
Right now, it's just kids jumping.
Mhm.
But if it's gonna be a flag, it needs to follow the flag code with lighting, with everything else. But you've got a sign here and a sign here.
Right, one in each corner.
the purpose for both signs is that space can be subdivided into two tenants. And so, there's two separate entrances, one on the east side and one on the south side. And if we divide that into two tenants in the future, they'll both have room for signage, so we don't have to come back. So I would agree, he doesn't necessarily need to, but, to accommodate what we're all trying to accomplish, there's a reason why I asked for a sign on both sides of the building. I'm trying not to come back either.
Come on, you like us.
I like you.
He's changing that square footage from a mural to a sign, right? So right now, he has a mural there.
Right,
The last request was just to reduce the size of that sign. In the last meeting. So I brought it down to like.
yeah, I don't see that the 500 square foot sign is warranted. If he wants a sign there, he has to get rid of the mural for me. Otherwise, he has to leave it two murals as it is. I agree with what Mr. Bailey said about the sign, if it's an American flag. I would have issue with that. Now I need to know what you guys want to do. What's your say?
My say?
Yeah.
Frankly, honestly, I don't have a problem with anything, and I would leave the urban air sign the same size, even though they're repainting it. And I know what the board voted last year.
Right.
If you feel strongly about it, then by all means, but I don't see a problem with leaving it the size it is right now.
Yeah, like I said, the only reason we said it before is it was already up, so we
Uh-huh.
allowed it to stay.
Right.
We didn't want it that
get
big. Yeah.
I get that. I just, personal experience, that's how I found out there was a trampoline park in Township, and I took my grandkids there.
Yep.
And I don't have a problem with the sign, the bolts box sign.
So if you added the bolt boxing sign, would you be in favor then of taking that other mural down? It's getting kind of busy in that corner.
I don't see that the mural interferes, that whole side is busy, and so is the east side,
Well, keep
very
in mind, if
busy.
you're looking at it now, there's no mural there.
There is a mural.
There is.
There is
Right
a
there.
mural.
corner?
It's just
There is a
reflection
mural.
jumping.
I saw that one, I didn't see.
Yeah, this is the way it is now.
Yeah.
And then the new flag is gonna take up everything. And instead of this tall person, looks like they're running,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a square bulls boxing here,
Or some sign,
or some sign there.
a sign.
Well, no, it has to say bolts boxing.
No, it's just a sign.
No, it's just a
We're not-
placeholder. He's just asking for a
Yeah,
eight
like any
by
others.
10
These are
sign.
just signs. They could change in time.
Well, this is consensus, I know what I want, but that's, if you guys all still,
And I'm not opposed to the signs on the west and on the south, the newer signs that are represented with Bulls Boxing, it's gonna be that. The mural, I do like that corner with something on it. I think it'd be dull without it. You go
Yeah.
from sign to sign. I like to have something there. I like the way it is now. I think it's kind of cool, the corner with something. If you take it away, you have blank sign, blank. Not the end of the world, but
Right,
it dulls it up a tad bit, because you don't get to another mural until you get going on the east face, until you get to door number 3, and you go on the south side to door number 23. You kind of a blank palette. I'd like to see something there. I'd keep what's there personally, the same size. Urban air, I think we're pretty clear on that. In my mind, you change it, it's 150.
yeah, I would agree with that.
for me, it's changed at 150. But, if the board likes both the bolts boxing and the mural, I can live with that. But urban air has to be reduced.
If we change it.
Yes.
Yeah, if you change it.
Or modify, right?
If what?
Or modify, or.
Right, if
or
it's change it off
changes
from
business
its
or
identical
whatever.
format, yep.
Right.
Okay,
That's it.
so that pretty much takes care of the south.
So we're on the east now?
Now we're on the
East.
east. And that's the pure side, that's a lot on it.
So a new sign at E2,
Yes,
Yes.
mural to sign at E10, mural to sign at E11, mural to sign at E12, mural to sign at E16.
well, the mural at E10, that's already there, isn't it?
Mural to sign.
You change it to a sign.
E10 is a mural.
It's gonna remove E20, right? And that change to the square footage in
So we're adding
E21.
1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 murals becoming signs.
No. That's just a change in square footage.
This one here.
No, I think
And
you're
you're
right.
gonna
Five
remove
signs becoming,
E20. E21 is a change in square footage from 40 to 210.
Is a request.
It's proposed.
I'm still the mindset of,
I think
The
we need to
150.
stick to the 150 on any new.
We have 3 murals? Trying to signs?
E10 is going from a mural to a sign, and they're wanting 260.
E10, right?
Right. It's next to the left of door 8.
Right now, it's a swimmer on there, right?
Right.
yeah,
Below it's a
3,
baseball
4.
player, it's remaining a mural.
No, if you look above, it's dark blue, which means it's changed mural to sign.
There's 4 murals going to a sign. One 40-foot sign wants a 210-foot sign, and then an addition of an 80-square-foot Bulls boxing sign.
Yeah, because it says mural. On the end of E10?
E10, E11 are both murals changing to signs,
Okay.
And E12.
and E12. E16 is a mural going to a sign.
Well, first of all, I think the consensus was 150. Anything that would go to a sign would be 150. Was there any,
Yes.
Yeah, I have no problem.
So all 4 of those are, from changing to mural to sign, you're going to 150.
the sign that goes to 150?
We're changing the whole scape of the front of the building.
This is east elevation.
And then you're removing E20 and making that E21 at 210 or 150. Now, it looks like there's 2 signs there. Because you have the marquee next to the door.
Yeah, in red, is that what you're saying?
No, or is that a T-shaped sign?
No, that's a multi-tenant sign underneath it.
So there's 2 signs?
It sure looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You're
sure
gonna
does.
remove E20,
Right.
and then E21's proposed at 210, right? Square
But there's
feet.
2 of them. If you look here, there's the den and then the
The den
multi-tenant
is
below
getting
it.
removed.
Or is that all one T-shaped sign or 2 individual signs?
When you're saying being removed, that's when they're adding it. They're adding the den. They want to add the den.
E21 is where the den is, the one below it's a sign that's blank, looks like. I mean, is that correct?
It's down here.
It's added, it's where you see this double blank, they added a public door.
E20.
That's red.
So that one's going away.
Yeah.
And the one over door 12 is basically becoming 210 square feet.
From 40?
There was nothing there before.
Well, you have
Oh,
a small
There's the
square
den
here.
and there's a den and multi-tenant sign there. 40 square feet.
Yeah, that should be, if it's going to be there,
So
that
it's
should be
one
150. That should be 150 and that should be 50.
Just like the one in the back.
Right.
Yeah. The lower one would be 150 and then the upper one would be 150. So this would be 150.
Right here.
So 21A above is 150. 21B, which is below, is 50.
21A,
Right.
21.
Just like that.
Okay.
And then this one.
150.
Yeah, also, that one's 150, right?
Yeah, got all of them.
Just, so that way you know the. Now, is that it?
And then the Bulls boxing, we're okay with 80 square feet.
Yes.
Okay.
And now the one on the end, is that the same size?
That's the mural.
But what was it before size-wise?
It's the same size.
289 stays the same.
Again, stating the same
Right.
concerns that we had before.
So, for the east,
Why don't we take a 5-minute recess and let the applicant look at that set of plans? You want to do that? And
Sure.
take a look. If you're done before that, let us know, but take a look at what we have.
I have a
Pardon?
quick question.
Add 'em up at
Yeah.
the same time.
Okay.
I have a
Take a
quick,
recess
I
and-
have a quick question.
Sure.
Since we changed all the other signs to 150, are you changing that one on the west elevation to 150?
thought so.
55, but
It's at 220, or 216 right now.
Yeah, any of the new signs are 150.
Okay. So just a quick note, I added up all the signs that we changed, the
Okay.
reduced the size to 150,
Yes.
and we're reducing total square footage by 724. So,
So we're
Whatever
probably
that
falling
does
right
for
in that 45,
So
50
we're right
then.
in, yeah.
We're right there. Okay. I'll let, Mr. Bailey look at that.
It's in the 4550.
We're going to consider a 5 minutes recess and we'll reconvene. Okay, go ahead. Come on up. I take it you put our notes on yours so you can go through it, or
Well,
come on up and tell us,
where we're at?
yeah, where we're at.
First of all, I know this is super frustrating and challenging for everybody because it's not black and white. So, look, I appreciate you trying to work with me and accommodate this building. So, I have just 3 requests or 4 requests that are changes from your notes and what was discussed. And I'll tell you the reason why. So, starting on the east elevation.
Okay.
So E10, E11, and E12. I respectfully request that those square footage stay the same. And the reason for that is, number one, on the, as far as the signs that go next to the door, we have a number of tenants that need to be represented. There might be as many as 19. For E10 and E12, if you have these tiny little signs that are right in the center of our building, it changes. We're not trying to make this look, there's kind of an art to this hodgepodge that makes sense. But you go from 200, 300 square foot mural, a lot of the bigger signs are significant. And then you go to, 3 tiny little signs. Number one, you really can't see it from the
Okay, let me
road.
stop you right there. It's 10 by 15. 10 by 15, it's higher than the ceiling.
But in
10
comparison,
by 15 is very large.
But
It's
in
not
com-
small. Let me finish.
okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, there's cars parked in front of that building. The cars block quite a bit, cars and trucks block quite a bit. From the road, you're not seeing anything that's a third of that building down. Because from the road, it's blocked by cars. When I rode through it today, it's solid cars and you're not seeing it. So you need to raise those signs up so they are visible. Take advantage of that 10 by 15 or however you want that square to be. And you're not going to convince me that 10 by 15 is small. It's very large.
But in comparison to like the mural next to it, that's 230 square feet, or
Right, but that's a mural as opposed to a sign.
or the other signs
Right.
that
Now, I
are.
understand you want larger size. Everybody does. That's always the push. But 10 by 15 is very large. When it's pushed up away from the blocks of the cars, it's very visible from 24. That building is close to 24. It's not set back hundreds of feet. It's very close.
I think, Kelly, what Christian is saying too is that there's other signs on the east wall that are above 150. There's 185. There's 2 signs that are 185 feet. There's a sign E3 that's 175. I think he's trying to make maybe
Oh, I
more of a
understand,
compromise
but
with
it
what's
came
already
to us
on the
painted.
wall.
A lot of
Right.
these came and we were being very accommodating and not saying repaint it.
No, I understand that.
So that's where
I know there's some history there, right?
Right. I mean, a 10 by 15 or however you want to lay it out, like I said, that's a good percentage of this wall. It's very large. I mean, the ceiling here is not even 9 feet, so it's as tall as this.
And even E13's 200 square feet, right? Same side of the wall. It's up higher in elevation, which you're suggesting,
Right.
which makes a lot of sense. Wouldn't you agree, Christian? I mean,
We
if you have
will
cars
do
in-
that.
Okay.
But the 925 is like the major entrance into the building.
Yep.
And the tenant sign, we don't want to have tenants that are this size. We'd like people to know and represent the tenants that are in there. So it's not just for someone walking up, but hopefully it's for someone driving by. So I don't have a lot of changes, so I'm trying to, of course, like I said, I'm not fighting. This isn't a personal thing that I love big signs. I'm trying to, make sure these businesses are successful and accurately represented. Those 3 signs, if we could keep them the same size, and the only on the north side, everything else is acceptable to what you're proposing. On the north side, I kind of spoke too soon with the CrossFit, the removal of that. We've got a tenant who's got 5,000 square feet in there that has a CrossFit gym, and he's got a 24-hour fitness that when people are coming into this parking lot, he deserves to have some representation there. And, to move that proposal down to 150 square foot sign, so you could have something there which lists the tenants on the door, but also maybe a smaller sign instead of deleting N3, just changing it to 150 square feet.
200.
And that's really it. The last comment is I would hope you reconsider the urban air sign. And I understand that we painted it before approvals, and I get the fact that you're trying to accommodate me at the time, but really when you look at the harm of this, it's existing. The urban air sign is 500 square feet. People are used to that sign. It's that side of the building, and changing the copyright is accommodating, my franchise, but we shouldn't be penalized for that. So you have these large signs all the way down that sign. We have a lot of color there, and then to just move that back to 150 square feet, I don't know that serves any purpose outside of what the original, my feeling or my understanding of the original intent of that is, hey, if you change, you get a new tenant and you got to remove urban air and you got to remove that whole side and you're changing that, then we want you to come in and into compliance. But urban air is not moving. Urban air deserves a significant presence. But those are the only 3 things, and everything else that you've recommended is acceptable as a compromise.
Yeah, I'm referring back to our ordinance. I mean, our ordinance is 150 is like maximum signage. But our ordinance also says, in addition to the wall signs in front, it says 1 wall sign no greater than 15 square feet shall be permitted in the rear of the building, which have a parking lot or alley located there. So you really, everybody else coming in has to conform with that 15 feet. We're, going way above that, and I still...
It's just existing. But I
know there's a lot of things going on. I know we've had a lot of discussion on this, that 10 by 15 or the 50 square feet is very visible. It still accomplishes what you need, and it fits within the ordinance, not having to go in excess when we have to apply these standards to everybody else. That's my opinion. I'll pull the group. We can talk about that CrossFit sign separate. But as for the rest, we'll start at the left side there. Walters, how do you feel?
With his proposed,
Changing from what
Increases?
we had already just done.
well, on the east elevation, I wouldn't have too much of an issue going up a little bit on the 150 to 175 on all those signs that he mentioned, which would be E10, E12, and E16. On the west, what's the next one? This is north, right?
That's the south.
North, you wanted to hit,
N3.
We had
the
said to eliminate
N3 to
that.
delete N3. I don't have a problem with going to a sign at 150 on that one.
Because the mural's there.
Yeah, and he did say earlier that we could take away that mural and keep the sign, right? I think that's pretty fair. Could get pretty busy in that area too.
Well,
So,
I keep going back to
and-
that side of the building does not get traffic. It's not a major
Right.
road. So it really needs to be identified in the front of the building.
Yeah.
If the key to a sign is to draw in traffic from the road.
Correct.
Once you're already turned into that building and there's directional markers, you're gonna go to the back. That multi-tenant sign is very visible when you're pulling in.
It is, and when you're going around the back, sometimes the
Right.
people that are new to that area are looking for that sign, looking for some identifier there. I know I go to a lot of different parks and for kids and for soccer tournaments and trying to find Field 8. I
Right.
don't know where Field 8 is unless it's well marked.
Right, I'm
So,
not thinking,
we were originally thinking to do 3 multi-tenant signs, and this changed quite a bit from that, so I think that would be fair enough to remove that mural, N4, and 3, keep N3 as a 150.
I still think a 10 by 15 sign in the back of a building, when you're already there, when the 50 square foot sign, that's 10 by 5, is plenty visible for the size of that parking lot to find that.
So something smaller than 150?
I think just the that's where I'm going back to.
Like a
The
150.
multi-tenant sign is fine. They should have reserved some room in the front of that building
Like a 5
to
by 10?
advertise it.
That's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a ton of traffic that will come in that back parking lot. So it is advertising for that, because as we keep in mind, we have a restaurant, we've got a truck, you got a
I understand what
food
you're
truck,
saying. There's ton of
bowling
traffic.
alley.
They've already made the turn. They're already in that complex. Now they're just looking for it. It's very easy to find when you put your directional stuff. It's very easy to find that.
Well, the
The rest is
biggest,
just advertising. What you're trying to do is do advertising and logo, which is marketing. But the purpose of the sign that you want is to draw people from the road. We have a real clear
Yeah.
ordinance that says we don't want stuff in the back. That's even what our sign ordinance says. We don't want stuff in the back. And so we're being really generous with the multi-tenant signs and the other stuff that's there. I think anything else is really, it's just marketing and not truly the intent of what the sign ordinance is supposed to do, is reduce signs to what's necessary, but not give a benefit to this applicant more so than anyone else would give in this community. Let's just go down and we can always go around again. If you really think.
With leaving the 150? Yeah, I'm agree with that.
How about the CrossFit? And if they want to put a small CrossFit sign, but it's got to come off on multi-tenant, something's got to give a little bit if they're going to put a CrossFit sign. Either reduce something else or,
Well, why not put it in the front where you have
That's
an
what I keep
additional 925 bar and grill? Why have 2?
for this same reason you're saying to put the sign in the back, you need the 925 is the building, it's the Legacy Center 925. So that's the identifier of, as it relates to the CrossFit sign, the intent there is this, and it is unique. There aren't many properties that have tenants in the back of a building. This is a unique property. It doesn't fall within your normal standard building where maybe you have a tenant, they have a back door. This is a tenant that there'll be hundreds of cars, into that parking lot, going into the bowling alley, going into the restaurant. And one of the biggest comments that we hear is, oh, I didn't know that was in that building.
Right, I understand, but you already have to be in that building to drive around the back to find that. So the purpose of having a sign back there as opposed to a multi-tenant identifier, what door to go in, is nothing more than advertising at that point. You're just doing a promotion of a logo and what that is, and
That's where that tenant space is.
it's not the intent of the ordinance. That's what the front's supposed to be for.
But it's a different business.
Right, but you have a multi-tenant sign that's 50 square feet. Okay, you can put as a big component of that, that CrossFit logo, and still have room for the others that entrance through that particular entrance. I don't know, let's go down the road. What do you think?
And these are maximums that we're
Yeah.
giving. I mean, they can be
Right.
smaller, right?
I mean, I've been on the board a long time, and these are big signs compared to what we're normally dealing with.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and like you said, this is a unique building.
Yep.
I don't look at a sign in that location. This is the north side. Any building that I would look at that music school sign. It's an identifier of where that place is at. It really is. It really doesn't have an identity. Putting out front really, okay, where's it at? If you put it on the east side of the building, where's it at? This to me is more of an identification than advertising. Like the 924 that's in the back. The 925 that's in the back. It's generating, showing a location of where this is at. Again, this is somewhat unique. This doesn't occur in this town too often.
But does that size, is it required to have that size to identify where it's at?
I think it'd probably be 100 square feet and do what it needs to do. In my mind.
10 by 10?
10 by 10.
That's that whole area.
Let's see, yeah, 10 by 10. Related to the east side. Yeah, I could see maybe 175 over signs versus the 150. I could see that happening. Along the south side, it didn't dawn on me until I looked at it. We have sign S6 at 260. We're making no provisions for that, should it ever change to reduce that sign.
Which one?
Right.
Why are we punishing this person?
The new signs are what we're saying,
Right,
150.
but
Right.
this sign forever and ever, it's S6, is 260.
Because it came in at 260
It'll be
painted,
260 forever. It'll never change.
right?
Okay, it'll never reduce down to 150.
Right, but we could have at the beginning made him reduce it to 150 in the
But I'm just
beginning.
saying, just to be fair and have some context of it, what about making that 260? To have the same emphasis. Because right now, S6 will never change.
Right now what?
Correct.
260 square feet from now in perpetuity.
Right, actually, I
It's
mean,
not going to change. There's no provisions to change that.
but he's adding signs. He wants more.
I'm just saying. I'm just looking to be somewhat fair. This sign won't change forever. Well, the other signs will. That sign won't. So I'm just pointing out there, that's all.
So you're
Well,
saying
we
keep
also said
urban-
that those signs could be shared.
So you're saying
we said
keep
he's got a-
urban air symmetrical to
Cut it in half.
the
Cut it
kids'
down to
energy.
260.
If we
Take
change it.
500, 260.
From
Because we said
150
before,
down.
he's got a large area to work with, he could combine some in that large area. It wasn't that sign forever, he's got that area to work within. Kind of goes both
Just
ways.
thought-
Again, they're
Just thought
maximums, right? I mean, if you want it
Yeah.
at 150, you can keep it at 150. If that's a maximum, what
Right,
you-
it's just an area on a piece of paper right now. I doubt
Right.
that it's probably 260.
Yeah.
You go out and measure it.
Yeah.
But what we have on his plan is 260.
And that mural's pretty big next to it, too, 815.
That's all.
All right. Having jumped into this.
Yeah,
I do feel the 150 for the E10, 11, 12 would be sufficient for signs. 10 by 15 is very large. And I don't like the CrossFit sign at all for the west side or the north side. But if you had to have it, I would make it a much smaller size sign. I mean, I understand that you need to advertise where this place is located,
What's his business?
but I don't, not at 150, even 150 square foot, because like Kelly says,
100,
once you're in the parking lot and back there, the only reason you're gonna see that sign is because you're back there for that,
well, no.
or because you're driving around. But once you're in the parking lot, you're going slow enough that you're gonna see the CrossFit sign. You know, the front of
100
your
square feet would
building,
be agreeable.
the front of your building, when we're heading south on 24, speed limit is 55 miles an hour right there. I can't see all those signs. The only way I see those is coming out of Myers. So, you know, those go by me in a blur. Heading north, I see your south side signs, but that's about it. This sign is someone going very slowly in a parking lot, and it doesn't need to be 150 square foot. That's just
I would
my-
agree to 100 square feet. I think that's
just my feeling on that.
Something small.
So I think we have a consensus that the 150 is reasonable. CrossFit sign is still kind of up in the air. I would be amenable to something that's much smaller there to identify that particular use, but they've got a lot to work with. You know, those other ones we were adding were 80. And, you know, when I was driving around the parking lot today, the identifier signs like the multi-tenant, they're only maybe at the most 5 by 5, and the wording, you know, the letters were only about this big, and I could see it from one corner all the way over, you know.
With your glasses on?
I don't wear glasses, are reading only, but, I mean, normal vision for driving, you know,
Okay.
that would be very, it was visible enough, and that's much, much smaller. Like, I agree that once you're already back there, you're gonna see what's back there, so having something smaller to identify it, I don't have a problem with, but it would have to be small. I think some of the others in there were in the 80, which I think is still very generous.
So where are we at?
Was it
So where are we at?
80? Does 80 work?
For the CrossFit
Yeah, for
sign?
the CrossFit?
Instead of deleting it, make
Yeah,
it
instead of
80,
delete it, make it 80.
and keeping the mural, or not?
I would.
Keep the mural?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the
Okay.
mural. Yeah, just make a big note. Okay, but at 80 or something, so when somebody looks at it later and they see the big cross mark. Okay.
We're keeping all these at 150?
Yes.
So that brings our new total to reducing it by 644. Should we go over these each individual?
Yeah, why don't we
which ones
just-
changed?
Do that right on the table, so.
Yeah, you want to just read them across each, you know, say mural at square feet, and I'll just kind of jot it down, I'll do one.
Okay.
Yep. Here, I'll use paper then. Go
There
ahead.
you go.
Yep.
So E10, E11 and E12.
Well, actually, no, start from the very left side of the plan and
Okay.
say mural at X feet, just read it right
Okay.
across.
E1,
But first say if it's a mural or a
Mural?
sign.
Use the tables.
Okay.
Kelly, we can use the
yeah, he's got
table
the
right here.
table.
Can we use that or no?
Okay, let's make sure it's correct.
Would you at least consider E12,
I-
keeping it the same?
If you read it for the minutes, it makes it a lot easier. Just,
Okay.
starting from the left side, mural at X.
All right.
Again, first say mural or,
E1 mural,
Mhm.
289 square feet. E2 sign, 80 square feet. E3 sign, 175 square feet. E4 mural, 418 square feet. E5 sign, 185 square feet. E6 sign, 185 square feet. E7 sign, 90 square feet. E8 sign, 50 square feet. E9 mural, 230 square feet. E10 sign, 150 square feet. E11 sign at 150 square feet. E12 sign, 150 square feet. E13 sign, 200 square feet. E14 mural, 380 square feet. E15 mural, 180 square feet.
was E14 a mural or sign?
Mural
Yeah,
Sorry.
380, right?
Okay, yeah.
at 380.
Mhm.
E15 sign, or I'm sorry, mural at 180 square feet. E16 sign, 150 square feet. E17 sign, 40 square feet. E18 sign, 40 square feet. E19 sign, 40 square feet. E20 removed, 40 square feet,
So there's nothing,
nothing.
zero, okay.
And then we have E21A, 150 square feet,
Is that sign,
sign.
150?
E21B sign at 50 square feet. E22 sign, 40 square feet. E23 sign, 40 square feet. E24 sign, 40 square feet. E25 sign, 40 square feet. E26 sign, 40 square feet. E27 mural, 40 square feet. E28 mural, 300 square feet.
What was that again?
E28 mural, 300 square feet,
Okay.
which actually shouldn't be a mural because it says
Yeah.
And
that's
neither
a
is
sign.
E27 is a sign as well.
Yeah, E27 is a sign.
E27 is marked as mural here. Okay, so E27 sign, 40 square feet. E28 sign,
Which sign has that one? E28 sign.
E28 sign at 300 square feet,
300?
300.
Okay.
And that covers the east elevation.
Okay, so murals, I just want to make sure mine is right. For the murals, let's see, E1 was a mural at 289,
Yes.
E2 is a sign at 175, E3 was a mural.
Nope, E3 is a sign,
Okay.
175.
Oh, E1, 289, okay. This is E2. This is E3. E4 was a mural at 418.
Yes,
Okay, and then the other murals I have are E14,
correct,
15,
correct.
why do I have two E15s? Okay, it's only one E15, right?
Yep.
Okay, so twice. And then,
Nine,
which one?
E9, E14,
E9 is a mural?
E9 is a mural of
That's
230 square
230?
feet.
Okay,
so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 murals.
and E28 was a mural, 6 murals.
Yes.
No,
E28.
E28's a sign.
Sign, okay. Oh, got
So
it.
the murals are E1, E4,
Mhm.
E9, E14, E15.
Got it. Those are all signs. Okay.
Now, the south elevation, S1 sign, 103 square feet. S2 is a mural at 80 square feet. S3 is a sign at 90 square feet.
90?
90. S4 is mural at 185. S5 mural 290. S6 sign at 260. S7 mural 230. S8 mural 815. S9 sign. And did we decide that that was at 150
Yes.
or the 260 to match
150.
Kids Energy?
150 was the consensus.
No, if you're changing copy, not the change. In the event that we change copy,
Okay. So 150 if it's changed.
Yep.
you guys discussed 260.
150 change, otherwise the current one is 500.
S10 sign 160. S11 80, that's a sign. S12 mural 160.
Okay, so the murals are S2, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 12.
Correct.
So before we move on, are we gonna keep that 150 if they modify or change the sign?
150 if
Okay.
changed, otherwise 500 if it doesn't change. Yep.
All right, so west elevation, W1 mural, 216. W2 we scratched. W3 mural, 216. W4 we scratched. And W5 sign, 150. W6 mural, 390. W7 mural, 1,500. North elevation, N1 sign, 150. N2 sign, 50. N3 sign, 80. N4 mural, 190.
So the north one mural, 190. I guess we got two people adding. I can see Mr. Butler doing it too. I'm just going to add signs.
Can I make one final comment before you?
Let's do the adding here.
Now, are we gonna list this in some sort of table? So, in the event that Kids Energy changes down the road, they can be done case by case without having to go through everything, or?
Well, I think the wise thing is we read this so she can pull this off the minutes, so you can refer back to that reading, and then you can refer to the plan that will be signed and dated today.
Yeah.
And kept in the file. And
So
then
if
you wanna
any of
add
these change, they can be case by case, so we're not back.
starting over.
But it should be changeable copies. We shouldn't have to come in to change a tenant.
No, just the size of it, right?
Yeah. just
Or
the
change
size.
from a mural to a sign,
Yeah,
or
the size is going to change.
you have a maximum size, square footage. You know, this calculator smoking over there.
Okay, I think I've got it. What do I I did the total on the signage, and I came up with 3563 if the urban air is changed, and 3913 if it's not. Tell me if somebody else gets something that matches that.
What was your total?
Okay, on signs, it would be 3563 if the urban air is changed, and 3913 if it wasn't changed.
50 more,
Yeah, minus 150 plus 5.
3913.
3913, yep. And then on the murals, oops.
I didn't get those.
Okay. For the murals, I come up with $57.69.
That's what I said.
Yeah, 57.69.
What was
In
it,
here.
57?
Pardon?
What'd you have?
57.69. Match?
No, but I didn't add it.
Oh, okay. All right. And I just
Same answer.
do it
Seems
I'm
like
not
a weird number.
on the murals.
No, I understand.
Neither am I.
Yeah,
Well, on the subtotal, on the north side,
north side?
all right, let's see, on the east side, start on the east,
East
the one I
side?
did first. On the east, my subtotal was 2290.
I got 2375. So 80 plus 175
Yeah.
plus 185, 90, 50, 150, 150, 150, 200, 150. And then we got 9 times 4 is 360 for the 40s.
I have 340s. Oh, you went on there. You went ahead.
Get them all together.
Plus the 300.
That's 300.
And so what was your subtotal?
$23.75.
And on the 40s, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 that are 40, right?
940,
10.
360, right?
360. What did you come up with? Come up with something?
2375.
Yeah, compare that to that too, that's right.
5, 105, 90, 50. 150, 150, 150, 200, check. 150, 40, 40, 40, 150. 50 with a 50 comes in.
E20.
Oh, the A and the B, there you go. 40, 300.
And then the 300, yeah.
The 300, that's a sign or a mural? Is this a sign? It says mural up here.
It should be a sign.
24, 25?
Yep,
It's a sign.
24, 25, yeah.
No, check. All right. South side,
And the south side, well, we might add up, now if we go 24, 25. The south side, I came up with 843 or 1193.
$843. Okay. 150 on the west?
Yep.
And 380 on the north?
280. 280.
Music school at
I have 150, 50, 80.
multi-tenant sign,
It's 50.
we have 50, okay. There we go.
150, 50, and 80.
So 280,
Yeah,
so
3698.
150 plus
That was at 180?
433 plus
180 for N3, right? Not 80?
Which one?
425,
80 square feet.
3690?
Yep, 3698.
3698.
Yep.
Or
3698. Yeah. 40, 48.
4048. Okay, check.
What's the total you came up with?
Totals we came up with are 3698 that includes the reduction of the urban air. With the urban air, it's 40/48.
Yeah, if no change to the urban air, it's 40/48. If they change it, it's 36/98. And if there's any error when they find it later, we'll refer back to our listing of the individual sizes
Right.
to rectify
And you're
that.
gonna attach that with
Yes.
this plan.
Yep. That will be attached with that. And so the murals, the additions, right, that was 5769.
5769.
Good, got that one. And so, also, in our discussion and findings, we found that the signage within the allowed sign area can be changed. The murals can be changed as long as they remain murals and don't have any identification to them. And the location of the actual sign has to, how do we want to say that?
Pursuant to the plan provided.
Yeah, within reasonable variance.
General accordance.
Yeah, and in general accordance with the plan. And then I would be comfortable too saying if the locations of signs want to be moved in the future, that can go to planning commission to determine a movement of the sign, as long as it's staying in the same size. How does everyone feel about that?
Signs can be moved as long as it's just in the,
As long as planning commission approves it? Like, say they redo a whole section and the doors all change and they want to move a sign, as long as it's staying within the same amount of signs and size of signs, if the planning commission determines that a movement of the sign is permissible, I would allow that.
that's fine.
Basically, we've given them the number of the signs, the general placement of the signs, and the murals. If they want a substantial change in terms of location, that could be done by planning commission, as long as we're within the same number of signs and the same size.
Would there have to be a minimum distance from each other as well?
Yeah, I would think that the purpose wouldn't be to combine
Right.
a couple signs into one, they'd have to be each unique. All right, I think we have enough to make a motion.
We'll make one last statement.
Okay, come on up.
Thank you. All right, so I know this is a lot. I just request one change to this, and it is important to the building. You know, I asked for the signage to be increased, but the E12, which is the 925 sign, that is the marquee entrance to the building. And, you know, in accordance with some of the other sign sizes, we'd like it to be, you know, significant, have presence. You know, that is a main entrance into the thoroughfare. So, you know, respectfully, the only thing I would request is if we could keep E12 the same size as proposed at 238. So it would give it presence and, you know, give it what the building deserves. But that's it. Thank you. I appreciate all your time and consideration on this.
That's been discussed. I think we've already kind of made a determination on that. They can put those higher, and I think the fact that it's only got a few letters, there's a lot of black in those 925, I think it'll be very visible. I really do think it's going to be very visible. All right, anything else? I think we also made a determination that this was the minimum variance to accomplish what's needed here.
Do you want a formal motion?
Yep.
I'll give it a crack.
And you can refer back to these discussions in the table, so you don't have to reread it.
Do we need to go through the finding of the facts before we have a motion at all?
We can go through them, the individual ones real quick, or I could just summarize them and we can
I think we've
Just
kind
do
of
it.
gone,
You were kind of talked about it for
we
a
have
Yeah.
gone
couple
through
of,
those. We don't necessarily need to for.
you summarized it.
Hit on those.
Yeah, I mean, what we were doing is we established that this is the minimum necessary, that we granted a lesser variance than requested. The variance will do substantial justice to the applicant as well as to other property owners, in this case, the community. We did grant a lesser variance. We felt the lesser variance will give relief to the applicant. The need for the variance is due to the unique circumstances peculiar to the property and not generally applicable into the area or to the other properties. The building is definitely unique. And the problem and resulting need for the variance has not been created by the applicant or the applicant's predecessors in this case because of the uniqueness of the building and the zoning ordinance not adequately being versatile enough for building like this. Does everyone agree with that?
Yes.
Now we can go forward.
There we go.
In the matter of ZBA 007.17, signage for 925 North Lapeer Road, doing business as Legacy Center, Oxford, Michigan, parcel number 0422101003, applicant Christian Mills, address being the same. I move that we grant a variance, a signage variance, for the Legacy Center, for a signage, total signage of the building of 3,698 square feet. If the legacy, if sign S9 is changed, if it is not, 4,048 square feet would be permittable. Also, we grant variance to allow for total mural signage square foot area of 5,769 square feet. The signs and murals are per the plans provided as amended with our comments and discussion this evening. This variance is based upon the uniqueness of the site, our findings of fact. There's some other conditions we wanted, right?
Planning commission?
That we also grant, as a condition that the planning commission can have the ability to approve a sign should there be changes made to the facade, changes of location. That any changes to signage would,
Yeah, as long as they don't change the square foot or number of signs for planning commission. It would be allowed, the planning commission could,
signs could be changed,
as long as they don't change the square foot
as long as the
increase yet,
signage
or
and the square
the
footage
number of
percentage
signs,
of the
yeah.
plans provided do not change.
So the number and size do not change. Well, we can, do we have a second for?
I'll second that.
Okay. And so, just for clarity, it's per the plans provided in terms of location, the general location, as you said,
They're pursuant to the plans provided, so that's in there already.
and that specifies the general location and the allowed size.
Plans will be marked up.
Okay, yeah. So we'll just, if we would consider amending it
Have
to
to make
say,
sure those
to
are-
the plans that will be signed and added to the packet show the maximum allowed sign and general location of the sign.
I'll add that to my motion.
Would you amend?
Second,
Okay.
yeah.
Is there anything else? Okay, so far we have that I'll just summarize it, the signage allowed would be 3698 if the urban air sign is altered, If it is not altered, it would be 4048. The mural square feet would be 5769. It would be per the plans provided, which would be dated and included in the packet from tonight, which shows the location and maximum allowed size of each individual sign and mural. It's based on this building being unique and our findings of fact and discussion, and that we would allow the planning commission to alter the locations of the sign with the provision that the maximum size and total number of signs does not change. So that's the motion.
Yep.
Good summarize well, yeah.
Okay, if there isn't any further discussion, we'll need a roll call.
Chairperson Rosner Myers?
Voice last.
Oh, always last. Mr. Walters?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey, no. And Chairperson Rosner Myers?
Yes.
Yes.
And for discussion, what was your concern?
I'm just still concerned that we're still gonna be right back here next year with more variance. And I think we were lenient enough the first time, but
And for the record, we had said before, this is
Right.
your allowed square foot. If changes need to be made, they know what square foot they have to work with. I think for the record,
Yeah.
it needs to be noted that, additional signage is not a consideration.
Correct.
Just so when we're reading these minutes in the future, if it comes up, we know exactly what we were thinking.
Yes.
Mind. Okay, because I do agree that, I think if it's clear, it makes it a lot easier. Okay. Moving on, where are we? Lost my agenda. I think it's right here. There we go. What's the difference in A and B here?
Setback. On your west side of the US, it's setback.
What is it?
It's a setback variance.
Oh, okay.
This is a setback. It's a 35-foot setback. Question of variance of 30 feet.
Oh, this is for the parking lot? For the new
For the
component?
C2, right? 35.
Yeah, I probably didn't look, this is one that's been through planning commission, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's why I didn't look any further, because you're taking over
I
here.
am.
That's why I'm like, wait, I stopped there.
I'm in charge.
And you have the minutes from planning
I
commission?
do.
Okay, at this point, I will step down, as this has been in front of us, and I'll be back when this is over. I'm gonna rewrite this neatly.
You're on item 7B, ZBA 08-17, 925 North Lapeer Road. Doing business as Legacy Center, Oxford, Michigan, 48371, parcel number 0422-101003, applicant Christian Mills, address the same. Subject property is located in the C2 commercial zoning district, located on the west side of Lapeer Road, across from Myers. Is the applicant here? I thought for sure he left.
Present.
That's no way.
The
So
applic-
please explain what the issue is, Mr. Mills.
We're asking for a dimensional variance because the building, due to rezoning of the property, C2, rezoning is not allowed to create non-conforming structure unless a variance is granted. So the existing structure does not conform with C2 district required front yard setback, and therefore requires a variance. So, and we meet the variance requirements, strict compliance, the building is existing, we didn't build it. Without a variance, existing building cannot be used for commercial uses, thus preventing the owner from using the property for legal use. Substantial justice, once again, the existing building cannot be used for the permitted uses without a dimensional variance. Tearing down the portion of the building that's non-conforming would be a practical difficulty and financial burden. Lesser variance, the request dimensional variance is the minimum necessary because the building is existing. No new additions are proposed. Unique circumstances, the property is unique in that the large building has existed in its current location on site for many years. And it's not self-created. So the building, again, has existed on site for many years, and the footprint is not proposed to be altered. So it's not a self-created issue.
Thank you. At this time, at 9:52, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone from the public that wants to talk on this, please feel free to do so. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board member for any questions. Any questions?
No.
Open questions?
Nope.
Okay. That will go through our findings of fact. In reviewing the request for the variance, the following standards shall be determined and practical difficulty shall be considered with no single factor being determinative. Strict compliance with governing regulations regarding setbacks, frontage, bulk, height, or density or other non-use matters will unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property for a prevented or will render ordinance conformity unnecessarily burdensome. Board member comments?
The building is existing, right?
Building
Yeah.
is existing.
So without the variance.
They'd have to do some significant modifications.
Yeah, they couldn't use it for commercial use either, right?
So I think it does apply in this particular case.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on, number 2, the variance will do substantial justice to the applicant as well to other property owners. I think that is
Yes.
certainly applicable.
Yep.
Applies here. Number 3, a lesser variance than request will not give substantial release to the applicant and will not be consistent with justice to other property owners. I don't know if there is a lesser variance here that's available, given the fact it is an existing condition.
Existing, yeah.
Moving on, number 4, the need for the variance is due to particular circumstances peculiar to the property and not generally applicable to areas in the area or to other properties in the same zoning district. Unique in the fact that it's an existing building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5, the problem and the resultant need for the variance is not self-created by the applicant or the applicant's predecessor.
Oh.
Obviously, it's an existing building, he bought it in that manner. At one time, it probably did meet some sort of setback. The zoning changed and took more right-of-way, so I certainly think it applies. Any other comments, board members?
No?
Nope, agree.
I'm up for a motion.
Is anybody gonna do it?
Are you preparing it?
Okay.
Where's working on it? I know he is.
Is it?
I was thinking about
Bailey's got this.
in the matter of ZBA 008.17, 925 North Lapeer Road, doing business at Legacy Center, Oxford, Michigan, 48371, parcel 0422-101-003, applicant owner Christian Mills, address the same. I move that we grant the 5-foot setback from 35 feet to 30 feet based on finding of fact.
I believe he's asking for a 30-foot
A
variance.
30-foot variance?
Yes.
I make that
35
change.
is required.
35 is
You only get
required.
honor with 5, so.
So we will grant the 30-foot variance. What's that? Anything else?
Second?
We have a
Been
second.
motioned and seconded. Any other discussion? Roll call.
All right. Mr. Walters?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey, yes. Mr. Butler?
Yes,
And Chairperson Rosner Myers is abstained.
you have your variance. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. We love what you do in the community. Thank
We
you
do.
for your
Yeah,
investment.
thank you.
Chairman, the chair is yours.
Before I forget that.
Okay, yeah, I'm rewriting this into a legible format too. Okay. And so, we're gonna move under Number 8, board member comments. Let's start on that side.
Nothing.
I know it was a lot of work and a lot of pain and brain damage to get there, but I think we did accomplish something. I agree with you, Mr. Bailey, and can I echo the comments of our chairman, coming back again, I don't know if it's an eventuality, I think he will, but I think this time around, I think we've done everything we can to assist him.
Yeah.
I don't want to be predisposed and say I wouldn't, but it would take a strong, compelling argument to make me change from where we are. I think we did a really good job, and I'm glad we took the time to do it. I know it's late in the hour, but I think we did a good job of that.
I don't think the legacy or the urban air discussion is over. I'm sure we're going to hear about that one.
Yeah,
I agree. I think for the size of the building and what could be in there, I think we've given enough square foot and sign that whatever happens to go in there can work within that. I think we've given it a pretty good direction, and I think we'll be using this for part of our discussion for ordinance review when it comes to sign review on how to address this so we can be more versatile.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a very unique building to the area, right?
yeah,
So
it is.
we shouldn't have too many of these types of cases,
Gosh, I
right?
hope
So,
not.
In one way, yes, it's a good thing, and on the other, no. On this end, it's not.
Yeah,
I'll save mine for
and
last.
it's Columbus Day, so happy Columbus Day.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you finished?
So motion to adjourn?
Oh,
Yeah.
I still had that.
We do?
Second.
He's packing his stuff up over there.
Kind of real quick, an email to the board here. I know there was a comment last time about, we had plenty of time to do calculations. I'd really ask that those kind of comments not be sent out from our township. I mean, we do a thorough job and we do what we're supposed to here, and I think everybody is prepared for the meeting. We don't need notifications on who picks up what when. I don't feel that any member of this board has ever been unprepared. So I think that we need to keep a level of professionalism here and just notify us when it's in and keep the rest out of it. And I think that would be a lot better off for the whole community, because we don't want those kind of things used against us later either.
You never know where emails can go.
Well,
That's-
yeah, and people can then claim that, well, see, they weren't prepared.
Yeah.
And all that, so let's not go there. With that, we are adjourned.